the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to work with vowel teams, and we're going to have some keywords that are going to help us remember our vowel team names. So we're going to work with long A today. So we have AI, like you hear in rain, AY, like you hear in May, and then EIGH, like you hear in 8. Okay? So I'm going to give you these, and I'm going to segment and say each sound, and then you're going to say each sound. You're a pro with that finger. All right, you ready? Ba, 8, B. N, A, nay. Ain, rain. St, ain, stain. Ba, a, bay. Col, aim, claim. Pl, a, play. A, ray. Good job. What a way. What a way. Aid, mate. Ain, paint. Good. Okay. Now I'm going to have you read for 1 minute. So I'm going to set a timer, and I'm going to have you go through and say each of those words just what we just did, so you want to sound and blend each of the words, okay? All right, so the first, you ready? Okay. Go. And go back 1 second. What's this one? Good. Good. Great stuff. Awesome. Okay, so now I want you to use these patterns that we have. So we have AI like rain, AY like May, and EIGH like 8. I'm going to look at one of the patterns. So I want you to find one of the words that has the AI pattern. So which one of these words has an AI pattern? Good. And let's say that word. Good. And I want you to find a word with the AY pattern that we just worked with. Good. What's that one? Good. What about EIGH? Good. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to work with a text that has these long A sounds. So it's going to have long A like AI, long A like AY, and the long A sound like you hear in EIGH. So we're going to first whisper read this passage together, then we're going to partner read it, and then we'll choral read it. So let's whisper read it together. Oh, and then do you want to highlight a strip? No? Okay. 1, 2, 3. My friends went to play at a beautiful lake. We got poles so that we could fish. We had worms for bait. The sun shone in fine rays on the lake. The fish did not like our bait. We did not catch any fish that day, but we had a fine time at the lake. Next time we may go to the bay. There may be more fish there. All right, so now we're going to partner read. So do you want to go first or second? I'll let you pick. All right.
My friends went to play at a beautiful lake.
We got poles so that we could fish.
We had worms for bait.
The sun shone in fine rays on the lake.
The fish did not like our bait.
We did not catch any fish that day, but we had a fine time at the lake.
Next time we may go to the bay.
There may be more fish there. All right, now I'll start and you'll go second, okay? My friends went to play at a beautiful lake.
We got poles so we could go fish.
Go back, I think you missed.
We could
Start over.
fish.
In that sentence again.
We got poles so that we could fish.
Awesome, you missed the word that, but you got it that time. We had worms for bait.
The sun shone in fine rays on lake.
The fish did not like our bait.
We did not catch any fish.
Oh, it's alright. The green light's still on. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Why don't you read that sentence again, we? We're right here. Go ahead.
We did not catch any fish that day, but we had a fine time at the lake.
Good. Next time, we may go to the bay.
There may be more fish there.
Good. Alright, now we're going to read together. Let's try to keep your voice with mine. Alright, ready? I'll count down. One, or up, I guess. 1, 2, 3. My friends went to play at a beautiful lake. We got poles so that we could fish. We had worms for bait. The sun shone in fine rays on the lake. The fish did not like our bait. We did not catch any fish that day, but we had a fine time at the lake. Next time we may go to the bay. There may be more fish there. Awesome job. Okay, now we're going to use these same patterns on the smartboard, but we're going to sort some words by AI, AY, and EIGH for our long A sounds, okay? So we can come up there. I'll have you. So if you look, you have the 3 different categories. We have AI, AI with our code word or our clue word rain, AY with our clue word May, and EIGH with our clue word 8. And then we have this category right here, which is oddball. So it's going to be that means if any of these words don't follow one of these long A patterns, you're going to drag it into there. So you can pull them. So I want you to read it to me. Tape. Okay, what pattern is that? Good job. So it's still a long A sound. What one is it? Oddball. Good job. Read that one. Good. Sorry, just tap it. Go ahead. Good. What pattern does play have? A, May. Good. Stay, rain. Good. Good. Okay. Why is that one an oddball? No, you're right, but what's that word?
Cat.
Cat.
It doesn't have any
It doesn't match any of our clue words. And is cat a long A word? Is cat a long A word or a short A word? Cat. Good job. So that's why it's an oddball. It doesn't even have the long A sound. Mm-hmm. What's that word?
Bat.
Why is that an oddball?
Because it doesn't have any of the rhymes.
Good. Any of the patterns in it? What kind of A is in bat? Short or long? Good. What's that one? Good job. Why?
Whoa.
Sorry. Good job. Bay. Yeah. Good. I can see that. It's fine. What's that one? Good. What's that one? Good. What's your clue word? Good. Great. What's that one? Read it first. Good. Good. What's that word? Can you read it? Show us. Good. And the last one. Good. Okay, so before we move on, I'm going to have you practice. You've sorted the words by sounds, but now I'm going to have you, we're going to write a couple just using this paper. Let me grab my paper. So as you can see, I put our long A clue words up there with our pattern. So these words are going to be long A spelled A-I, long A spelled A-Y, or long A spelled E-I-G-H. So the first one I want you to try to spell is, let's spell made. So before you write, let's sound it out. Say each sound.
A.
Good. 3 sounds, but 4 letters in this word. Good. So that's M-A-Y-D. But what if we, so there's another, so you have 3 sounds. It's going to be A-I, A-Y, or E-I-G-H. So this one is going to be made, like the sound you hear in rain. So if you know that clue, how would I spell made? Great. Okay, and then let's try play. So sound it out first. Say each sound louder before you write it. Good. So it's play, like you hear in the sound. Good. Yep. Good. So play has the same sound like you hear in May. So the long A in play is the same sound you hear in May. Okay, ready for one more? Let's try way. What? So show me the sounds that you hear before you write it. So hold on, let me give you a clue. It's way like an 8. So if you know it's way like an 8, what pattern are you going to want to use? Great, awesome. Okay, we're going to stop there. We're just going to play the 3 sounds. You can be working on it, but you can leave it up there. We'll get it at the end. Awesome. Oh, thank you. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to work on is some fluency. So we're going to work on repeated readings. So I have a copy and you have a copy of the same story. And we're going to read it 3 times, each time for 1 minute. If you look on my copy, do you see how I have the numbers? So you're going to try to get further each time that you read. And we're going to graph each reading on this graph using colored pencils. And you're going to try to beat it each time. So knowing that you're going to read, I'm going to write 1-7 on the bottom because that's the title of this passage. As you're reading this one, I want to do 1 read, and then after we do 1 read, we're going to make a goal for how many words you're going to read for the second one, okay? Okay, so hold on. I have this highlighter strip. I want you to use it just for this activity, okay? Before you read, this is a story about Tom and Mike, okay? So that's who's in this story. All right, ready? Go ahead.
The sun rose early in the morning, one bright summer day. All the children in town knew it was finally time to go out and play. Tom lived with his parents in a small house in a quiet neighborhood. He ran out the door to start his day. His best friend Mike was waiting in the yard with his bat and ball. Mike tossed a ball to Tom. Tom jogged away from him down the street. Then he stopped, turned around and threw.
Good job. Through. I boxed it on mine so you can find out where it was. So this one you self-corrected, so it was, you said quite, but then you self-corrected to quiet, so great job. And then the only error that you had, so only one, was Mike tossed, you said a ball to Tom, but the passive says what? Good job. Okay, so if this, at the end of this line, it's 84. So you read 1 in, so that means that you read 83. So we're going to do 83 minus 1, which means I get
82.
Nice. 82. So on this graph, we're going to color for our first read. So we're going to want to, you can pick the color that you want to use. We're going to use 3 different ones. Awesome. All right, so you want to find, hold on, before you start, 80, and then these lines each count by 2. So if you want to do 82, it's going to be right where my finger is. So you want to put a line like going sideways. Yep. And then you want to color from the bottom up to 82, and then we'll do a second one. just shade it in, or however you want. I really liked the self-correcting that you were doing while you were reading. Great job. You went over. That's all right. It will erase. That's why we use colored pencils. But you're gonna try to go over this time, so that's what I want you to do next. If you read 82 your first time, what's your goal for your second read? For one, it's still just 1 minute. You want to try to get a little bit more than 82. Your second read, that's your goal. All right, and that's what we're gonna try to beat. Okay. So we're gonna use the same passage. We're gonna do this one 3 times today. All right, you got it? Go ahead. Yep.
The sun rose early in the morning, one bright summer day. All the children in town knew it was finally time to go out and play. Tom lived with his parents in a small house in a quiet neighborhood. He ran out the front door to start his day. His best friend Mike was waiting in the yard with his bat and ball. Mike tossed the ball to Tom. Tom jogged away from him down the street. Then he stopped, turned around, and threw the ball. Mike swung a bat, and the ball flew far into the air. Tom quickly ran back.
Right, back. And you again, so let's look over this one. So this time I did it in green so we could see the difference. So back is here, but you self-corrected the word to, and then you had an insert, like you added a word, but then you took it away. You self-corrected that. And then here, instead of his, you said Mike swung a bat, but it reads Mike swung his bat. So again, just one error. Now let's see if you got your goal, which was 110. So if this was the end of this line is 99, that means that this is 101. So you were a little short. So do you want to, so we'll do 101, but still you went up significantly. Look at that, Lauer, from your 82. So 101 minus 1 is? Good job. Awesome. All right, so we're going to color 100. You can pick
18.
All right. Yes, you did. Nice math. So we're going to color in the second one that says 17, and you're going to color up to what number this time? 100. What color do you want to use this time? So just in the second column to 100. Good. Pick a third color, and we'll do our third reading. All right, so while you're coloring for your third one, do you want to keep the same goal of 110? What do you want to do? So think, you told me you went up 18 in between both of them, and you just read 100. Okay, I love it. Let's try it. You ready? Yes. Are you counting down? Almost free. Okay, we're halfway through. You're doing a great job. Okay, you ready?
The sun rose early in the morning. One bright summer day, all the children in town knew it was finally time to go out and play. Tom lived with his parents in a small house in a quiet neighborhood. He ran out the front door and to start his day. His best friend Mike was waiting in the yard with his bat and ball. Mike tossed the ball to Tom. Tom jogged away from him down the street. Then he stopped, turned around, and knew the ball Mike swung his bat, and the ball flew far into the air.
I think I beat it. Let's check it out. All right, so you only had one error. You said new, but what's this word? Through. And then you got to air. So actually, last time we got here, so we're going a little bit back, but still more than our first read. So if this was 99, you want to count back with me? 98, 97. So I can't. 97, and then we said the one error. So minus 1 is what?
96.
Great. 96. Then we're going to graph that one. And we're all done with that for today. Let me give you a graph. What color do you want to use this time? Okay. So 92, 4. So that line, but then the third one. Yep. You can always use the paper to block it too. Oh, good. You got it. So next week we'll have to, maybe we can work on, or not tomorrow, right? Next week we'll have, or tomorrow, we'll work on a goal. We'll see if we can beat it. We'll keep trying. We're going to fill up this whole table. You'll be able to see. Awesome. So if you look here, that was your first one, and you can see looking on the graph, look at the progress you made just in 3 reads, right? That's awesome. All right, we'll put that in this. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start reading a story. And it's called, have you ever read a Magic Tree House book? I'm going to come next. No? Okay, so this one's about, it says Magic Tree House. It's by Mary Pope Osborne, and it says A Big Day for Baseball. And this says, what's this say?
Volleyball.
So looking at the cover and with that clue on the front, who do you think or predict that this book is going to be about? Good. All right, so we're just going to read the prologue of chapter 1 today. But while we're reading, I want you to think about what are the setting, the time period that this story is taking, and the place, okay? So we're going to do a couple different styles of reading. We're going to partner read, we can echo read, or we can choral read, which is all 3 of the strategies that we used when we did our long A passage too, okay? So let's go ahead and we'll partner read for this page, okay? So you want to go first? Or you want me? Okay, go ahead.
One summer day in a Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, a mysterious tree house appeared in the woods.
It was filled with books.
A boy named Jack and his sister Annie found the tree house and soon discovered that it was magic.
They could go to any time and place in history just by pointing to a picture in one of the books.
While they were gone,
Good self-correcting.
no time at all passed back in Frog Creek.
Jack and Annie eventually found out that the treehouse belonged to Morgan Le Fay, a magical librarian from the legendary realm of Camelot.
Since then, they have traveled on many adventures in the magic treehouse and completed many missions for Morgan.
Now Jack and Annie are about to find out what their next magic treehouse mission will be. So I have a question about what we just read. It's something right from the text, so that means that it's a literal question. How did Jack and Annie travel to new places in history? How did we learn that they travel?
Just looked at a picture from the magic treehouse.
So they look at a picture
In
in a book, yeah. So we can look back and it says that they could go to any time and place in history just by pointing to a picture in one of the books. Good. All right, so now we're going to read chapter 1, Flyball. So what we're going to do for this read is that I'll read and then you'll echo me, okay? All right. The early Saturday morning air was damp and chilly. Jack sat on his front porch steps. His chin was cupped in his hands.
The early Saturday morning air was damp and chilly. Jack sat on his front porch steps. His chin was cupped in his hands.
Annie came out the front door. "Do you want Mom to take us to the rec center now?" she asked. It was the day for baseball tryouts.
Annie came out the front door. "Do you want Mom to take us to the rec center?" Turn now, asked it tryouts.
"I've decided not to go," said Jack. Annie sat down next to him. "What's wrong?" she asked. "I can't stop thinking about last season's tryouts," said Jack. "I fell down when I swung the bat. Everybody laughed."
I've decided not to go, Jack said Jack. Annie sat down next to him. "What's wrong?" She asked.
Good self-correct.
"I can't stop thinking about last season." "Tryouts," said Jack. "I fell down when I swung the bat. Everybody laughed."
"Yeah, well, everybody laughed at me too," said Annie. "Remember, I threw the ball to the wrong team?"
"Yeah, well, everybody laughed at me too," said Annie. "Remember, I threw the ball to the wrong team?"
"So maybe neither of us should go," said Jack. "But our whole family loves baseball," said Annie. "We read about it, we watch it, we learn batting averages,
"So maybe neither of us should go," said Jack. "But our whole family loves baseball," said Annie. "We read about it, we watch it, we learn batting averages,
Flower, that inflection that you added right there sounded great, especially when you noticed the word was italicized. We're almost done, but I need you to stick with me, all right? So see how these words are slanted? You know how and when you read it, how did you say it?
love."
You added some emphasis to it, so when the author puts these words in italics, that's exactly what he wants you to do. Before Annie could finish, something dropped from the sky and rolled across their front yard. "What's that?" said Jack. He and Annie ran down the steps.
Before Annie could finish, something dropped from the sky and rolled across their front yard. "What's that?" said Jack. He and Annie ran down the steps.
A small white ball lay in the grass. Annie grabbed it. "It's a baseball," she said. "Where did it come from?" said Jack.
A small white ball lay in the grass. Annie grabbed it. It's a baseball," said.
Where did, hold on, read that one too.
"Where did it come from?" said Jack.
He and Annie walked to the sidewalk and looked up and down the street. No one was there. "Maybe it's from another world," whispered Annie. She handed the ball to Jack. "That's crazy," said Jack. "What other world?"
He and Annie walked to the sidewalk and looked up and down their street. No one was there. "Maybe it's from another world," whispered Annie. She handed the ball to Jack. "That's crazy," said Jack. What other world?"
Good. All right. We're going to let's choral read, okay? All right. So that means we're going to read at the same time. Hopefully these next 2 pages, and we might have to rethink our plan. All right, ready? "Think about it," said Annie. "1 second, we're talking about baseball and how we don't want to go to tryouts. The next, this baseball drops from the sky." "Oh, you mean," said Jack. What do you think they're thinking about right now? We can make an inference.
Tryouts.
They are thinking about tryouts, but if it came from another world, knowing what we learned in the prologue, what do you think? Who do you think could send this baseball? Maybe. All right, let's read and find out. "Morgan," Jack and Annie said together. Who's Morgan? Do you remember from the first? We learned she's the
adventures.
Yeah, she's the librarian who sends them on all the adventures. Annie took off down the sidewalk. All right, read with me. Annie took off down the sidewalk. "Let's go," she called to Jack. "Hold on," Jack shouted. He put the mysterious ball inside his backpack and raced after Annie. Jack and Annie crossed the street and dashed into the Frog Creek woods. They hurried between the trees. Keep going. I know we're almost done. Well, the trees until they came to the tallest oak. Magic Tree House was back. Yay, team, said Annie. She grabbed the rope ladder and climbed up. Jack followed her into the house. Leaf shadows danced on the wooden floor. 2 gray baseball caps sat in the dappled light. Next to the caps was a book, History of Baseball. A red leather bookmark was sticking out from the pages. Okay, we're going to stop there because we're out of time. But before we go, I do want you to tell me, see if we can fill in, what was, so for the setting, where was this story taking place that we learned so far? Remember what town they were in? Let's see if we, all right, so let's, before, here it is, right here. I'm going to look in this line. 1, read this line to me.
One summer day in Pennsylvania.
Good. What's the town?
Frog.
Yep, so that's our setting. That's the place. And the time is what? They told us that in that first sentence, too.
Frog.
You have the book to help you, so you want to spell it from the book. So frog. Creek. Good job using capital letters for the town name. And then here's the state. Right. And then we learn the time too, so we can fill that in. What's the time of this story?
So
good. We did the place. So you're good. We filled in the setting, and that's all we've really read about now. Do we have any characters that we've met? Good. So let's write their names in. And remember, if you're not sure how to spell them, I want you to look back in the book. You can look on the first page, and they have them there. And then we have room in the. Yep. Well, look right here. Check yourself. Is that how you spell it? Mm-hmm. And then. Oh, it's just spelled the same way. Great. And then as we read, we have enough room in that box that we might need to add some more names, more characters. Look right here.
Who is that?
Who's what?
The writer.
Oh, the librarian? We can put her down too, you're right. Have we met her yet? We haven't met her yet, so I'm not sure she's going to be a main character, but we should put her name down for right now. And we can find her name. Morgan, you're right. Good. What kind of letter does she need? Good. Every name should start with a capital letter because they're a proper noun. Good job. And then we'll finish reading where we left and move on with the story as we go. And we'll work on filling in our graphic organizer. You tell me, look in the book. Oh, hold on. I lost the page that we were on when I closed it. There you go. Yep. All right. We're all done. And I'll clean it all up.